Most people think the Federal Reserve is a government agency, like the FBI or NASA, working tirelessly to protect the economy. But what if I told you the Federal Reserve is about as federal as Federal Express? What if I told you that the very institution that controls the price of your coffee, your rent, and your life savings was born out of a secret meeting on a private island involving men using fake names? Today, we are pulling back the curtain on the most powerful financial institution on Earth. We're going beyond the headlines and diving into the top 10 darkest secrets of the Federal Reserve. By the end of this video, you'll realize that the money in your pocket isn't exactly what you were told it was. Let's start at number 10. It's not actually federal. The name is a masterpiece of branding. While the president appoints the board of governors, the 12 Federal Reserve banks are actually organized as private corporations. They have shareholders, which are the commercial banks in their districts. It's a hybrid system that operates with a level of independence that no other government branch enjoys. They set the most important price in the world, the cost of money, without a single vote from the American public. Number 9 is the Jekyll Island. Conspiracy, except it's not a theory, it's history. In 1910, a group of the world's most powerful bankers, representing the Rockefellers and the Morgans, traveled in a private railroad car to a secluded island off the coast of Georgia. They used only first names to avoid detection by the press. Their goal? To draft the plan for a central bank that would give them a monopoly over the nation's money supply. The bill that followed, the Federal Reserve Act of 1913, was passed 2 days before Christmas, when most of Congress had already gone home. Coming in at number 8, the 98% wealth theft. Since the Federal Reserve was created in 1913, the US dollar has lost over 98% of its purchasing power. This isn't an accident, it's a feature. The Fed's stated goal of 2% inflation means they are systematically devaluing your savings every single year. Inflation is essentially a hidden tax that doesn't require a vote in Congress. It punishes the people who save and rewards the institutions that get to spend the new money first. Number 7. The Cantillon effect. This is the secret of why the rich get richer during a crisis. When the Fed prints trillions of dollars, like they did in 2020, that money doesn't enter the economy all at once. It goes to the big banks and the government first. These institutions get to spend the money while prices are still low. By the time that money trickles down to your paycheck, prices have already skyrocketed. The Fed's policies don't just manage the economy, they structurally transfer wealth from the bottom to the top. At number 6, we have the audit that never happens. Every few years, there is a push in Washington to audit the Fed. And every time, the Fed fights back with everything it has. While they are technically audited, the public is never allowed to see the details of their most sensitive transactions or their agreements with foreign central banks. They argue that transparency would politicize the economy. But critics argue that we have no idea what's actually happening behind those closed doors. Moving to number 5. The too big to fail safety net. The Fed acts as the lender of last resort, but this creates something called moral hazard. Big banks can take massive, reckless risks, knowing that if they fail, the Fed will print money to bail them out. In 2008, the public saw the billion-dollar bailouts, but secret Fed programs actually funneled trillions of dollars in low-interest loans to global banks and even foreign corporations. The Fed basically guaranteed that the house never loses, as long as the house is a massive Wall Street bank. Number 4. Interest on reserves. Did you know the Fed actually pays banks not to lend money to you? Since 2008, the Fed has been paying commercial banks interest on the excess reserves they keep at the Fed. Instead of these banks lending that money to small businesses or homeowners to help the economy, they can just let it sit at the Fed and collect a guaranteed, risk-free check. It's a massive subsidy for the banking sector that most people have never even heard of. At number 3, the gold vault mystery. The Federal Reserve Bank of New York sits on top of the largest gold vault in the world. It's supposed to hold the gold of dozens of foreign nations, but for decades, countries like Germany have asked to see their gold or bring it home, only to be met with delays and excuses. When Germany finally managed to repatriate some of its gold, the bars they received were not the original bars they had sent. This has led to a persistent dark secret rumor. Does the Fed actually still have the gold? Or has it been leased or sold off behind the scenes? Number 2. The revolving door. There is a seamless transition between the leaders of the Federal Reserve and the giant banks they are supposed to regulate. This incestuous relationship means that the people setting the rules are often the same people who benefit from them. It's not a government for the people, it's a system designed by bankers for bankers. And the number one darkest secret of the Federal Reserve: the mathematical trap of debt. This is the one that truly melts your brain. Under the current system, every single dollar is borrowed into existence. When the government needs money, it issues a bond, debt, and the Fed prints money to buy it. But here's the catch: the Fed prints the principal, but they never print the interest. This means there is always more debt in the system than there is money to pay it back. It is mathematically impossible to ever pay off the national debt. The system is a treadmill that requires us to borrow more and more just to keep the economy from collapsing. It isn't just a bank, it's a debt trap that ensures we are always running just to stay in place. The Federal Reserve is perhaps the most misunderstood piece of the modern world. It's a system built on secrecy, debt, and the systematic devaluation of your hard-earned money. If you found these secrets eye-opening, then you need to see what else they aren't telling you. I'm working on a follow-up about the Great Reset of 2030 and the hidden history of the IMF. If you want to be the first to know the truth about how the global money game is played, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. What do you think? Is the Fed a necessary evil or a relic of the past that needs to go? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and I'll see you in the next deep dive into the